Hola, sup babes? Jar speaking. I realized something this week. I realized that I made 3 videos so far. One was explaining why I got into road cycling, the second one was my first ride, and the third one, my longest ride so far. But I never made a video introducing my bike, so without further ado, there she is. This is the Canyon Endurace CF7 AXS, size extra small. It has carbon frame, electronic shifting, the whole thing. So yeah, this is my bike, and I thought that maybe instead of doing a boring specs video that you can find anywhere in the internet with people that know better about bikes than me, because I'm new to it, I'm 3 weeks into road cycling, so what the f do I know, right? So yeah, instead of doing that, I thought that I'll walk you through my bike and show you what the parts are called, what they do, and what I actually have. This way, if you're new to road cycling like me, maybe you can learn something together. And if you're not new to road cycling, maybe you have some tips for me, because I am loving all the tips you guys are giving me so far. I really appreciate that, so keep them coming. So yeah, let's get started. To start things out, this is the frame, the main structure of the bike. Everything attaches to this. Mine is carbon fiber, which means it's super light and also terrifyingly expensive to scratch. So I try not to think about that too much. But another thing is that the style of this frame is called an endurance geometry, which basically means it's designed for longer rides and comfort, as opposed to a race geometry, which puts you in a more aggressive and aerodynamic position. And this was exactly what I was looking for on my first bike, because on my brief journey so far, I realized that what I like the most about cycling is to explore, to go long distances without breaking my back, instead of chasing speed. So that's why I chose an endurance geometry. But let's move forward. That is the fork. The fork holds the front wheel and connects it to the handlebars. When you turn the handlebars, the fork turns with it and it steers the bike. Mine is also carbon because apparently once you go carbon frame, you go carbon fork too. And that leads me to the handlebars. These are drop handlebars, the curved ones you see on road bikes. They give you multiple hand positions, on top for climbing or cruising, on the hoods for most of your riding, and in the drops for going fast or into a headwind. Mine are aluminum, and the handlebars come in different widths, measured in millimeters. Mine is 42 millimeters, which I have no idea if this is good or bad, but now I know the number exists, I know how that width feels for me in case I need to replace something in the future. And then we get into this small piece connecting the handlebars to the frame, which is called the stem. It controls how far forward you're reaching when you ride. A longer stem puts you more stretched out and aerodynamic. A shorter stem brings you more upright and comfortable. Mine is also aluminum. The length depends on your frame size. Mine is 80 millimeters. I heard that if your position ever needs adjusting, the stem is usually where you start. And then we move back to the bike, to the saddle. And holding that is the seat post. The height of the seat post is one of the most important adjustments on a bike. Too low and your knees hurt. Too high and your hips rock. The bike shop set mine when I picked it up. Then I noticed after my first ride that my knee hurts a little bit, so instead of doing that myself, I might have to go for a bike fit. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Let's get into the drivetrain. This big round thing attached to the pedals is a chain ring. The chain connects the chain ring to the back wheel, and this cluster of gears on the rear wheel is called the cassette. Different size cogs that give you different gears. By the way, these cogs are called sprockets. Together, chainring, chain, and cassette are the core of what cyclists call the drivetrain, the system that actually moves the bike forward. Mine has 12 speeds, 12 sprockets on the cassette, which gives a very smooth progression between gears. Apparently, that's a good thing. And then we have these 2 mechanisms that move the chain between gears, and they are called derailleurs, one at the front and one at the back. And here's where my bike gets a little different from most bikes you'll see. Mine are electronic. That means no cables, no wires running along the frame. Just two small buttons on the handlebars that send a wireless signal to the motors, which move the chain. Mine is called SRAM Rival AXS. Is it an overkill for a beginner? Absolutely, but let's not talk about that. Moving on to the brakes. These are hydraulic disc brakes, SRAM Rival, same as the rest of the group set. The advantage over mechanical cable brakes is that the fluid doesn't stretch or compress the way a cable does. So, the response is always the same. Consistent, powerful, and predictable, especially useful in the rain. Okay, we're almost there. Let's talk about wheels. The wheels are 28-inch or 700C, which I don't know what the C stands for, but this is the standard size for road bikes. Just good to know, because if you ever need to buy a new tire or a tube, that's the number you're looking for. The tires themselves are 32mm wide, which is on the wider side for road cycling, and gives a bit more comfort and grip without sacrificing too much speed. The brand here is Schwalbe 1. And yes, tires might go flat. That's why I carry a spare tube in my saddlebag, and no, I haven't had use yet, knock on wood. So yeah, this is the end of the bike tour, let's call it that. And how much that cost me? 2,999 euros. It was a lot of money, especially if you consider that when I decided to get into road cycling, my bike of choice was the Cube Attain SLX, which was 1,399, I think, so almost 1,700 euros less than this one. But what happened? When I set my eyes on that bike, I had first to save to buy it, and I had a trip to Japan to go, and I decided that I would get into late May, early June, so I can enjoy summer riding. I went for my trip, saved my money, and when I come back to buy the bike, it was nowhere to be found, out of stock. Also, I never rode a road bike before, so I wanted to test drive, and the only store that has test drives available was Concourse, which is a Canyon partner, and I scheduled a test drive just to see how it is to ride on a road bike, and they gave me that, the Canyon CF7. I mean, the model without the electronic shifting, the mechanical one with Shimano's 105, and I fell in love. I decided that I would go for that one. But when I went to purchase that, also not available, not on stock, and it would only be available at the end of July, beginning of August, and I could not wait. I wanted my first road bike at the beginning of June, late May, because I wanted to enjoy the full summer, and I want it right now, you know, so I went for the next option that they have on stock and could deliver like next week, and that was it. So I was like, okay, 800 euros more, I can go for that. And let's say, is it an overkill for a beginner like me that never rode a road bike before? Yes, it is. I mean, I'd probably be happy with the Cube Attain SLX, but if you ask me, I have zero regrets. I mean, I love this thing so much that the first thing that I wake up every single day that I think about is to ride my bike. It is incredible how in love I am with this thing and how much joy it brings me, so I have zero regrets on the money I spent on it. And yeah, at least too, another thing that helped me like rationalize my purchase is that I have a really good bike apparently, and I don't think I'll be worried about upgrading stuff anytime soon. So that also, if you think about it, is a money saving, right? Or at least I like to think about that way. So that leads me to the end of this video, because I think I said everything I had to say so far. So yeah, if you're thinking about getting your first road bike, let me know in the comments which one you're thinking about in getting to, because I'm curious to see that. And if you're a more experienced person and have something bad to say about my choice, just don't. It was a pretty expensive purchase and I'm super happy about it, and I don't want to have second thoughts. So if you're not saying something nice, just shut up and let me be happy, all right? So yeah, I think with that, that's all I have to say. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you here on the next video. Ciao, ciao.